First of all, you're not still centralized, are you? Well, imagine for one moment that you keep all of your assets in a single central bank. You've got your rainy day fund there, your kids' university fees, you've got a number of direct debits set up to pay for your credit card, or perhaps the credit on your car, your mortgage, even your daughter's phone bill. It's fair to say that you trust your bank with a lot, but should you? Well, imagine that one day you take your lunch break from work, you head on down to your local Tesco and you buy your meal deal. You go to pay and you realise that the payment has been declined. You visit the ATM outside to try and withdraw cash and the same error notice appears. You check your emails and lo and behold, you've received this notification. The bank has frozen your account and all of the assets within it. Now you have no option but to comply with the bank's demands, which may include proving your identity, providing proof that a certain transaction was legitimate, and perhaps spending one stressful hour on hold over the phone to speak to a real person about the issue. Now, as a law-abiding citizen, this accounting error is unnecessary stress for you, and it leaves you temporarily with absolutely no money in your account whatsoever. The bank and its algorithm has complete power over you, and you wouldn't be alone here either. Because the big banks rely on error-prone, automated, risk-based AML systems to do the heavy lifting for them, law-abiding customers are often put in the line of fire. In fact, Resolver, a complaints resolution service, studied 4,300 complaints made between July of 2020 and July of 2021, where people were left without access to their funds via an account freeze with no good reason. And some of the reasons that banks freeze funds might actually scare you. A report produced by members of HSBC's UK Conduct Risk said that the bank had effectively frozen 1.9 million accounts by labelling them dormant. That's right, if an account isn't used for a certain amount of time, banks are able to literally cut access to them. And moreover, the study shows that once an account goes dormant, over 50% of customers never regain access to their funds. This is even worse when we remember that most of these dormant accounts are actually belonging to the elderly. The conclusion here is that centralization is much worse than we realize, and it's only a matter of time until your account is frozen on the back of some faulty algorithm, or even worse, on the back of a severe economic crisis. But there is a solution: decentralization, and it's on the rise. Decentralization is brilliant, beautiful, and bountiful. dApps, or decentralized apps, allow us to transfer money anywhere in the world almost instantly with incredibly low fees. But most importantly, with no intermediaries, decentralized finance gives power to the people to manage their own finances without an evil, error-prone centralized bank making all the important decisions. But with the first dApp being published on Ethereum back in 2016, this world is less than a decade old, and it's still filled with steaming hot geysers and pterodactyls. There's so much more to come here, and it's thrilling. It is. Now, leading decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Curve, and SushiSwap have enabled people to hop on the bandwagon into the Web3 big market. And with low slippage and record liquidity, the market is bustling, loud, and exciting. But what if there's a hidden door in this market, behind which sits a trader with a crystal ball who can direct you to the store with the lowest slippage and the best rates? Well, that trader is the DEX aggregator, and they are changing the game when it comes to decentralized finance. Much like how CompareTheMarket.com works for insurance or Skyscanner works for aeroplane flights, DEX aggregators are able to use algorithmic smart order routing to find the best rates for any pair across any exchange. Certain DEXs may even split your trade across different liquidity sources to improve the rate. And also, the number of DEXs that can be integrated is mind-blowing. 1inch takes the top spot here with 193 individually integrated protocols. In terms of your classic run-of-the-mill decentralized exchanges, you'll find Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Curve, and likely SushiSwap too. We've mentioned these. Now, when we turn to the DEX aggregator market, we're mainly looking at these. 1inch is number one, with the highest trading volume out of all DEX aggregators, but there's also ParaSwap, OpenOcean, and perhaps Orion Protocol too. We'll be specifically referencing 1inch here as a pioneer of DEX aggregation. Indeed, they pretty much led the way. And this is the fact that we'll be looking at. Are DEX aggregators stealing the audience from direct users of classic DEXs? If not, perhaps DEX aggregators are more price-focused, and as such, you'll sacrifice transaction security as a result. My name is Bradley Peake, this is BlockHouse, and let's find out. Price comparison sites came about in the dot-com bubble in the 90s, where for the first time prices from different providers could be collected and displayed on a single interface. And since then, price comparison websites have become the go-to for anyone looking for car insurance to plane tickets. And ultimately, they're attractive as they enable customers to find the best prices without all of the legwork. It goes without saying that these aggregators need services to aggregate, so there's a natural chronology where in any given industry over time, services become plentiful enough and the price spread becomes large enough that an aggregator will be of use. Indeed, at a New York hackathon in May of 2019, Sergey Kunz and Anton Bukov ended up creating exactly that, an aggregator for DEXs. And it just so happened that at this time, the market was beginning to need such a solution. The team continued to develop the solution in the wake of the hackathon, and it became an MVP for the future 1-inch protocol. Now, when we look at the statistics in 2022, users of DEXs such as Uni and PancakeSwap are leaving their traditional platforms for aggregators such as 1-inch at a rate never seen before. And it's no surprise that aggregators are welcoming them with open arms. For example, not too long ago, 1-inch actually airdropped tokens to Uniswap users. So let's take a look at some of the benefits that can be acquired through the use of such an aggregator like 1-inch. Of course, by comparing not only token prices across platforms, but also the fees involved, users will be able to save money by trading on a DEX aggregator. In fact, the price spread became so apparent since the advent of aggregators that it has caused price wars among the existing decentralized exchanges themselves. For example, Uniswap closed a proposal last year to add a new pricing tier with fees that were never seen before. They were so low, while DEX recently announced that it was experimenting with even lower fees depending on the size of the trade. They openly admitted that the fee changes were made to better compete with the fee schedule of the top crypto exchanges. Another important point to make here is that many small-time exchanges may be pioneering groundbreaking technology that enables them to offer extraordinarily low rates. However, due to the lack of funding, people simply don't know about them. To combat this, aggregators are able to educate their user base on platforms that are less known. In this case, they can really act as launch pads for projects, right? So it's clear that the existence of DEX aggregators is a good thing for the DeFi community when it comes to pricing, but also there are more trading pairs available. Certain DEXs have certain pairs on offer, and while many will offer your classic trading pairs, some will offer rather niche, outlandish and off-the-grid pairs. The great thing about aggregators is they have everything on offer, all in one interface. Regardless of whether you're trading BTC for USDT or the Paris Saint-Germain fan token for Curve's DAO token, a DEX aggregator is the place to be if you're looking for variety. And having said that, when we look at these statistics, kindly provided to us by Footprint Analytics, classic pairs such as USDC and ETH still dominate the trading volume on aggregators such as 1-inch, showing that while the added trading pairs are nice, the real value lies in the efficiency of the aggregator, while the variety is simply an added bonus. A major cited issue for DEX traders is high slippage. In other words, when orders are filled at a price less favorable than the one intended, or initially quoted. Aggregators such as 1-inch aggregate liquidity from different DEXs, so that whenever a user confirms a trade, the protocol works out the best prices and rates from all of the DEXs that it's connected to, and executes from whichever liquidity pool it determines is the best. There's also a partial fill function at play to speed up the process, in which a range of orders are partially filled, and those that experience an unfavorable degree of slippage are terminated. Lower slippage, more reliable pricing. There's no doubt that with these benefits in mind, you can find a whole host of articles online betting on the fact that everyone will be using DEX aggregators in the future. MetaMask, for instance, has already developed their own DEX aggregation engine in anticipation of this shift. So why would anyone want to stick with a single DEX such as Uniswap? Well, at this stage, you're probably ready to get trading with 1-inch and leave your DEX monogamy behind, but you might have some questions as to why many people are still sticking with their DEXs. In terms of statistics, this shift to aggregators is certainly more apparent for high-volume traders, but for ordinary people, there are some sticking points. For example, if you've been trading on Uniswap since 2018, the interface is very familiar. When it comes to crypto, there are plenty of functions, and learning your way around a dashboard can eat up a lot of your time. And perhaps for casual users and holders of crypto, the high slippage and fees just isn't that big of a deal, and it's not really worth reorientating yourself on a totally new platform, especially when it's more complicated. Ordinarily, I'd say fair enough, but when it comes to a popular aggregator, everything tends to be simplified to the max. Also, you can watch a 5-minute tutorial here on YouTube and you'll be ready for those benefits that we spoke about earlier. After all, the money you'll save in the long term and the opportunities that you'll run into with new trading pairs will totally be worth it. Moreover, regarding fees, sure, when it comes to a $10 transaction, you're not really going to see much of a difference in the fees paid. But think about future-proofing yourself. In 10 years, we could be in a world where banking through centralized organizations becomes obsolete. So it's worth getting to grips with these new ropes right now in the early stages. Secondly, die-hard DEX monogamists believe that transactions will be slower on DEX aggregators because of liquidity splitting. That's what we spoke about earlier. Now, while this is true to a certain extent, the benefits of liquidity splitting definitely outweigh the additional time that it takes. Usually, speed is an issue because of slippage, but when the latter is eliminated, the former is no longer an issue. That's my opinion anyway. Lastly, exchanges can be vastly different from one another. Each project has its own rhythm, its ethos and reliability. Many people choose to deal exclusively with Uniswap, for example, because the DEX has an average 24-hour trading volume of more than $4 billion. It's the biggest decentralized exchange, with a market share of 43%. The automated market maker also uses decentralized liquidity pools, which means that the platform can offer quick, reliable transactions with low slippage. The same cannot be said for many other DEXs, some of which look pretty risky. However, this worry is largely a general worry when it comes to more tangible products, such as hotels and flights, where each offer comes with, say, varying levels of support and guarantees. But when it comes to aggregating DEXs, it's much simpler, as each DEX pretty much offers the same thing. Moreover, an aggregator such as 1inch will only integrate reputable licensed exchanges. Also, with 1inch, your transactions are always transparent. You always know the terms of your trade in advance and also which exchange you're using. In my opinion, it's only a matter of time until the weaknesses of the arguments for going direct to the DEX become apparent. I believe that it's only a natural evolution for any industry when two fundamental criteria become apparent. When the choice on offer reaches a level where customers are confused on the market, and when the price spread becomes great enough to warrant thorough research to get the best price. As far as the DEX market is concerned, these two criteria have been fulfilled. As such, DeFi aggregators are even battling to make DEX loyalists consider the counter-arguments. Aggregators serve as a platform where DEXs can easily review the benefits of their competitors, and also to improve their own competitiveness. This is good for any industry, and it's pushing prices even lower for the end user, and offering unprecedented benefits. I believe that such future benefits could include cross-chain bridges to really get the most out of decentralized finance, and these are already in the works at 1inch with their BNB ETH bridge. In any case, what we're seeing is a battle of wits between allies, who are in fact working to defeat the evils of decentralization. Whatever future we're looking at here, it's one where the centralized bank doesn't have control over your hard-earned assets, and where also you have the freedom to choose between multiple exchanges and currencies. But of course, I'm interested in your experience. If you haven't used an aggregator yet, why not? And most importantly, if you have a little time on your hands, try out the 1inch app for small trades. We've actually got a link for you in the description. And also, leave a review afterwards for us in the comments. Let us know, were we right about the benefits? And remember, of course, like, subscribe, share the video, and we'll be back next week with another video. My name is Bradley, this is BlockHouse, and I will see you very soon.